Hi, and welcome to the Souls and Simulation podcast. We are your hosts, Devin and Angie, and this podcast provides an alternate view on life after death, processing everything that's wrong and possible solutions on how to get it right in the afterlife.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Welcome to
y'all.
another episode. Hey, Devin, how's it going over there?
Oh, it's going. It's going. Uh, yeah, I'm super excited about all of our new subscribers. Thank y'all. Um,
Actually, that is a great point, and I'm glad
yeah,
we're covering that at the start. We've had wonderful comments, and I can't believe the support we're receiving. It's been really amazing. So, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sure Devin's too. Thank you. We cannot express the gratitude enough for the support.
yeah, it's been really wonderful. Thank y'all.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think we not only have we stated in previous videos this even doing this thing is a big deal for us to overcome in each of our own ways things. But then the video we did with Tony on plant medicine was also um, because we know there can be a lot of opinions about that don't go kind of the way where people don't agree with maybe our perspective on it, and that's fine. But that was also a little nerve-wracking, I think, for both of us too. Plus, it was very personal and not pleasant for either one of us.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, admitting that something may have entered your body. That's not something you want to share with people, and it sounds like you might be a little crazy. And so that part of it, I wasn't sure I wanted to share, but I'm glad I did. And I know you had some concerns about things too, but we
Yeah.
just want to help people to stay away from it if
Yeah.
at all possible. So
Yeah, definitely. And I probably would not have been comfortable sharing my story if I didn't have your support and your friendship. But just kind of putting that in there, I felt like you helped me kind of open up and take footing and whatever in my own story. So
I'm
thank
glad you did because I think it empowers you. Like, don't,
yeah.
and you don't have to share. We don't have to get into that, but whatever the reasons were for maybe not sharing, um, which are valid, they're very valid. But imagine, like, what if just even one person who's thinking about doing it here's, or is in a lifestyle that maybe that like you were in at that time and
Yeah.
thinks, oh, hey, I want to try this, and then come across that video and they're like, you know what, maybe then that's huge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And do you want to go over just a few things real quick of what's coming up in the next
Sure.
couple of weeks on
Yeah.
our podcast?
Yeah. Um, so next couple weeks, we are going to be doing more deep dives, but we're also going to be having a lot of really great interviews with a bunch of really great people. And so in a couple of days, we have Mike Martin coming on
That's tomorrow night, actually.
tomorrow. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
tomorrow's Thursday. Cool.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
video, well, you're right. We'll probably post it either Friday, Saturday, but Mike Martin's interview with him will be recorded tomorrow night. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. And then do you
we're
want to?
hoping to have what Ola on. We're hoping December 10th, but it'll be sometime the first couple weeks in December. We're hoping to
Yeah. I can't
lock
believe.
that in.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't believe December 10th is so close. Gosh.
Well, we were just figuring out that December 1st is we're like 11 days away from that now, right? Today's the 19th. So we only have 11 days of September and we're already at December 1st already.
I know this sounds crazy, but does it feel like do the holidays usually feel fast, or do you think in the past couple years like it's gotten quicker paced? Does
I
that
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think time is speeding. It feels like it's speeding up, but I
yeah,
would remember my grandparents. So I just thought that's because I'm 53 and
yeah.
I'm getting older. But then, which interesting enough, I guess I'll mention it. Uh, I'm actually because maybe we'll get comments about this, and I'm doing a deep dive on. Have you heard the theory that all this died in 2012? Have you heard that?
I have heard it, but I never really looked into it.
I'm just starting to see,
Yeah.
well, what is this about? But one of the things, the theories that okay, so it kind of ties into this movie, The Langoliers, which I have to watch by
Okay.
Stephen
Okay.
King.
Yeah.
And I,
Yeah.
I guess in that it talks about how they explain the whole thing. I'm not going to explain it because I haven't seen it and I'm not going to make any sense.
Mm.
But they were basically saying that there are some entities that are trying to eat everything, and that the people in that had like sur that they were, I can't remember if they said they were really dead or that they survived something, but that time was trying to catch up with them. So the theory for them with 2012 is they're saying that if you were alive and awake before midnight that night, so you're still alive and, still awake before the ball drops in 1999, but you went to sleep before it clicked over, that you did die when you went to sleep that night, but you stayed stuck in that simulation, and
Mm.
that at midnight, a new simulation was created within the same reality, for those people who stayed awake after midnight, but they still died too, but they just awoke into a different simulation. And the two
Mm.
simulations are trying to merge together. So, in those of us who experienced the Mandela effect of, well, that was the Bernstein Bears. No, it was that that were in the past, and we're speeding up. Our time is speeding up, trying to catch up with those in the same simulation with us that are in a new. And again, I'm sorry, I can't be more specific or more detailed because I'm literally just looking into this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting though.
so that's maybe an episode we can do in the future too, after
Yeah.
you and I both look into it and see what we come up with.
Sure, sure. It reminds me of like kind of the new Earth split that you hear the New Age community talking about, the
Yeah,
uh,
I think the same
3D
thing. I
and the
think we're
5D. Yeah, that's what I thought of when you said that. And I know in like the Law of Raw books, it was prophesized that that would happen, I think around like 2012, I think. Um that was
yeah.
channeled information in the 80s.
Well, and you also have the Mayan calendar, which ended, right? It
Yeah,
was the Mayan
that too.
calendar, which
Yeah,
ended it. And that's why a lot
2012.
of people under this theory, that's why a lot of the people within that, who also tend to be people that think like we do, that this
Yeah.
is a simulation. They think that that's what that was referring to, is the end of a simulation and the start of another. Um, so it's all pretty, and really when you get down to it, I mean, all of it's just theoretical anyway. We don't really have,
Yeah.
uh, like, well, what good is it going to do you when you're dead to them? But I do think having, a grasp of, I don't think just having, I've heard people say if you go down too many rabbit holes, you're going to create too much. And that could be true. You're going to just create too many scenarios for yourself to try to navigate.
Mm,
As we'll get into with Soul, I've noticed that he kept trying different things and following what they told him to do in every scenario, except for not going to the light. That's the one thing he didn't do. But
yeah.
when he was going to be the mentor, he went along with it. And we'll get into all this, but it's almost like, just like the NDEs, I don't want to go back to Earth. And then they let whatever they're talking to send him back without question. There's no question
Yeah.
anything. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'll go back because Jesus told me or God told me, or and so, but that is what we're covering today. Speaking of souls, we're
Yeah.
covering the movie Soul,
Yeah.
Disney Pixar,
Yeah.
or Disney Pixar, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, let's get into it. What do you think?
For an animation, as I was explaining to Devin before this, I'm not big on this. And when I got out of the hospital last month, um, and again, not to bring it up, but it was a pretty close call last month for me. And based off of that, my girlfriend knows that we do this podcast, and she was also like, I know you don't like animation movies, but she's like, I think you'll really like this. And in light of everything, I think you'll really appreciate it. And in fact, I think it is amazing. I watched it once at that time, I think either on October 12th or the 13th.
Yeah.
And then, for this, I've watched it 3 times. I watched it once last night and twice
Wow.
today to really
Yeah.
get it into my head. So
Mhm.
what about you? What do you think of it?
Um, I I liked it. I feel like they put so many truths in like kid movies because then they can sell it off as being fantasy or just a really fun, captivating story. But this one had a lot of truths in it with the near-death experience. And I mean, just everything we're going to get into, the life review. Um,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, I thought uh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Um, but it was also just it's a bunch of just false stuff kind of being thrown at us uh, with everything. But yeah, I liked it. My daughter really liked it. She
I
loved
was going to ask, what's her perspective of it from a child's point?
from
I
a
mean,
child's point.
does she see any of the, does she ask you questions about anything or?
Not yet. She's 5.
Right.
But she really, really enjoys whatever movie that we're doing for our podcast. Like
Oh,
the
good.
Matrix movie and Dark City. Those are like some of her favorite movies. Um,
Really? That's fascinating.
she loves
That's
them. She like,
interesting.
yeah, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, she always talks about like the mirror scene in the Matrix, the very first part where Neo is like starting to wake up kind of. But for this one, she just kind of enjoyed um the cat. She loved the cat. And then she actually had a bunch of questions about the entities where the people
Oh,
they were taken over by their anxieties, their obsessions. So she was definitely that piqued her little mind. Um,
hmm.
yeah, yeah. So for anyone that hasn't seen the movie, Soul is a movie about this teacher, and his name is Joe, kind of like average Joe, right? And
Right.
he's lived his whole life loving music, loving jazz music. Um, but he's never been able to achieve his dream of getting on stage and performing in front of people. And he's just been like a middle school band teacher his entire life. Um, and so finally, the day comes where he gets the opportunity to perform with this well-known jazz um, player. And it ends up that he gets the opportunity, and she's like, "Hey, come back here at 6:30 tonight." And as he's like walking away and celebrating, he falls into this like pothole, and then he dies. And then it's kind of this journey of him trying to get back to that life, that opportunity. And he picks up a new soul along the way. And um, yeah, we'll get more into the new soul and all of that. Um, but yeah, it's this whole movie about a near-death experience. And then at the end, after all this like discovery and all these realizations, it seems like he's finally okay to go to what they call the great beyond, right? Into the light. They're like, nope, here, go back to Earth.
Right.
Oh, gosh, gosh. Uh,
Even, and he will, and he, here's this crazy part. He wanted to,
yeah.
he didn't question it.
Yeah, yeah. And he was fighting so hard to get back to his life. When the mentors, the counselors, they were like, no, you can't go back. You have to go to the great beyond. Come on, we're gonna help you go into the light. Um, and then finally, when he was okay with it, pop, back into
Yeah.
real life.
No,
And
I remember like, the first viewing, the, the first thing that stood out to me at the, the beginning of it, the first time around, I kind of didn't pay as much because I was trying to get into the movie. And
mhm,
so it totally escaped me when at the very beginning with his mother, you're already, just in terms of existing here, you're already in so many ways entrapped, not only in the body, but his mother getting on his case. You're
yeah,
never really free. You're
yeah,
never free here. Whether it's, for your health, your career, there's always something that, you know, even the body, all just attending to the needs of the body. I have to eat. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to do this. Nothing is ever um, your your free will. I
yeah,
mean, try to resist doing any bodily function. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. You're a slave to even the body
yeah,
in that respect. But when the mom, the second time, and third time watching it through when the mother was on his case about, you know, take the full-time teaching job instead of the part-time, get a job, get a career. We're told that our whole, once you start hitting your teen years, your parents are already, and I think it's even worse now with that. I mean, there's kids that have more busier schedules than adults
Hmm.
going
Yeah.
to the sports thing and doing this activity and debate, being on the debate team or what have
Hmm.
you. And then the other thing is it was a clear depiction of you have to do all of that stuff that I just mentioned. You're not really free, which makes it difficult to live consciously present. And that's how he dies. He was so happy that he got this one thing that he was obsessed with. And by the way, his music is obsession. It ends up being his attachment
Hmm.
that brings him back here.
Yeah.
But he's so like on the phone, even on his way to the audition, he was damn near killed
Yeah.
because
Multiple
through
times.
stupid, yeah, multiple times. And then when he leaves, he literally avoided that that scooter that was racing down the street at him. And right as he turned around, it wasn't even looking, and he dropped down that manhole thing
Yeah.
that kills him.
Hmm.
And immediately after that, that's when you see him as a soul with the other souls. At first, it's just him by himself, and then he meets three souls on what looks like a conveyor belt in
Yeah.
space. Just nothing else tethered to it, just this random conveyor belt that floating around in space, and
Yeah.
the white light, and then those three souls are just all about it, and that sound, which we're going to play a clip from it right
Okay.
now, but
Yeah.
my immediate, I even texted you, I think, and I said, that sounds like a bug zapper.
Yeah. Yeah. That was immediately my thought too. Uh, yeah. And I thought with those three older souls that had passed on, they probably had a lot of time to prepare for death. They seemed like they were very just ready and accepting to go into the light, and they probably
Well,
uh
didn't that one say, she goes, I've been waiting for this for 106 years.
yeah,
So,
yeah, she was
yeah,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting too that right when he died, he actually went into this complete space of neutrality, and it was just everything was still and black. And then all of a sudden the light started appearing. Or I think he might have noticed that he was maybe on some conveyor belt, but I think it might have been like just the in between before things were
Exactly.
intervening with us.
And I thought to myself, even now that you mentioned that, the second time watching it, it was like he should have just stayed right where he was.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, then you wouldn't have had the movie, of course, but and for the rest of us, maybe we ought to stay where just stay away from anything that, uh, no lights, no beings, because
Yeah.
that's what gets him in trouble. That's what keeps him in loops of different things. Even later on when it's just interacting with beings.
Yeah. Yeah. You want me to play that video real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. So, uh, okay. Anyways, can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I can. I'm sure everybody else will be able
Wait,
to.
wait, I got this. I gotta get back. I don't wanna die. I'm good. Run! Why aren't you ready? I don't know. What's wrong with you people?
I have it in two times the speed. My bad. I don't know how that happened. Oh.
What was that? Wait.
But yeah, it has
There
those.
was the sound.
Yeah, yeah. And then
There it
later it
was
shows
getting
more. It
sad.
shows a bunch of the souls, a bunch, and they all just go in and it goes. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
memory wiped right there.
that's exactly what I thought too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when people are like, when people say, well, like, you're not going to know what it looks like, or
Mhm.
I don't know. I kind of just from movies. There was one, Devin. I don't know if you've seen it. This is old. It came out in the 80s, I think. It's called Brainstorm with Christopher Walken, and it was Natalie Wood's last movie. But there's a scene in that where basically they create a device that you can put on your head, and have, so if you have an experience, I can put this device on my head that they recorded with you having the experience, and I can have your exact, like I'm there. Well, one of the scientists on that helped develop this technology, she has a heart attack while she has one of those headsets on and dies. And they immediately take the headset or that film. It's not really a film, but it's certain material that they record these experiences on. They take that recording and they lock it up. Well, Christopher Walken was close to her and he wants to know, because this is the answer to death, right? And there's a white light in that. Now, of course, I was really moved now I'm not, but when I first saw the movie, once he crosses through the light, it's like all this like golden, everything's golden. And there's all these angel type characters flying around. But it's still, every movie you think about that deals with the afterlife, they always show it's just like that. It's like this big light, and and everything else is dark, but the light is the only thing you can see, and then everything, moves into that.
Mhm.
The soul goes to it. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's what it probably looks like. It's consistently common. They don't display, I mean, I can't think of any of the way that they've depicted it
Yeah. Yeah.
in cinematography anyway.
Yeah. I know in like the past life regression books that I've read, like the ones by Michael Newton, um, they describe that. So the newer souls usually have to be ushered into the light or the tunnel, and usually they have, after you die, they'll have your loved ones or guides help you into the light. But the more experienced ones or the more conditioned ones, they just know what to do apparently, and it talks about that in the book. That the condition or the experienced ones, oh, they go into the light, and it's like this tube that takes them, and it feels so good, and it's full of color and energy, and it completely like cleanses. The way they described it in past life regression was it was a cleansing feeling to be in this tunnel of light, and you could feel all of life's like the weight you had picked up and all of the just energy and trauma and burdens you had picked up on Earth. All of it was like you're taking a shower. And then you're just like taken through all these different dimensional like layers to cleanse you, before you're
I bet
taking.
you that's probably done, and then the memory wipe comes.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Because
what
otherwise,
it
maybe the
is.
memory wipe isn't effective if you're still,
Mhm.
because maybe that you would be holding that and you would know, you know what, I'm not, I'm not going any further because I'm well aware of what I just came out of.
Yeah,
Maybe that's part of it. Maybe
yeah,
that's before the memory wipe, and
yeah,
then, you know, but they did. I thought it was. We'll get to that. Well, I mean, I guess we can bring it up. It doesn't matter because all of this is going to come at different points. But
yeah,
they had that whole little system in place with the Jerry's where they're assigning. Which I was like, there's a zodiac programming. There's your personality. This is
yeah,
what you're into.
yeah.
This is what, you know.
Yeah, they were sending souls off there like, okay, you're gonna be aloof, you're gonna be excitability, you're gonna be like one was just super just like dissatisfied with life. And then they were like, oh, okay, you're going to have a low self-esteem, and then all of y'all are gonna be self-absorbed. And then another Jerry is like, oh, we should probably, change the amount of self-absorbed souls that we make. Um, but I was
Yeah,
like,
I was just like, I kept thinking, I'm starting to watch some Howdy is it
oh yeah.
Mikowski? Is that how it's pronounced his last name?
I'm not too sure how you pronounce it, but yeah, I would say something.
I watched an interview with him between him and Tony that was like 2 years old,
Oh yeah.
and Howdy had asked him, well, what's your plan, basically, or and Tony kind of gave him his staple, like, I'm just not going to just going to maintain my, and he's like, I'm hoping we don't have to go through any of the life review, or if all of us do it right, and
Yeah.
then he's like, but if I do have to get a life review, Tony said, he's like, so he raised his middle finger up, but he had it like his arm out where he was kind of looking up in like a direction, like toward his ceiling. And he was like, but he goes, I just do this. And he's like, tell him to record it so they can play it back for me during my life review and just keep looking at him and going, that's what I think about the
That's
whole
funny.
thing.
That's
you
so
know,
good.
and when I was watching that scene, that's what I thought about. Like, you know what? Um, because that's, I think that's part of this with, I mean, Elle was referenced, and then another person that a lot of people have interviewed, but Tony has too. I think it's Amelie Gilleret. She's also an astrologer. I don't want to use, I mean, they
Oh yeah.
use astrology to talk
Yeah.
about the programming here.
Hmm.
And she says the same thing. It's like, well, her perspective, I think, if I understood the interview correctly, was uh, that you have to overcome those obstacles that the programming's placed you with,
Yeah.
which makes sense to get, to get out of here.
Yeah.
So that's what that reminded me of, is that they're handing out, and I was like, well, there's the grays. So to me, those Jerry's represented the grays in a little, you know, scientific, here's your programming, whatever.
Yeah.
And, kick him. Oh, there was one that, I think it was with the self-absorbed. They were like, well, they're Earth's problem now. Remember?
There was
After,
one, and it was like all the souls were talking about their personalities, and they're like, "Oh, I'm I'm aloof." Da, da, da. This other one's like, "Oh, I'm a megalomaniac."
oh, there you go.
Like, yeah, just psycho, pretty much. And then the Jerry, yeah, they were like, "Oh, well, Earth's problem. It's not our problem," and they just push him to the portal to Earth. Like,
Yeah. I was like, you guys, um, this place is just insane.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so I had. Um, a couple different notes on the beginning that we're talking about. Um, and so I think that so Joe took the place of that psychologist. I'm not too sure, the Borgenson.
Yeah.
And I thought in multiple times in the movie, it showed either destiny swapping or soul walk-ins.
So,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. I mean, that poor little cat, Mr. Mittens.
I was going to mention that. I was literally just thinking that. Like, what do you think happened to the cat's soul while he was in there?
I don't know. It showed him going into the light. Um, so he just he got kicked out and died, and another soul came in and replaced him, I guess.
Well, here's the thing too. It doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me that unless you said this like a soul swap thing, that he would
Yeah.
have entered the cat anyway, because there was something already present there.
Yeah. I know I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it, but I used to do a lot of research into soul walk-ins or that kind of destiny swapping. And it seems like I know, not speaking about the movie, uh, but when people are uh, possibly experiencing death or they're maybe doing their sorry, my words. When they're on the brink of death, then like other souls or entities, can come in and take
Hmm.
over or something. Um, I
That
don't
makes sense. Well,
know.
because
Yeah,
I think I told you in one of our other episodes about people who I mean, anybody can look it up, but a lot of people who go under anesthesia, so they're just having surgery. And
yeah,
one gentleman came back and his wife was like, this isn't my husband. He didn't remember, as he had no memory of his life before the surgery. And then you have other people, even sometimes just from an organ transplant, who behave differently. They're still
mm,
them, but they have aspects of themselves. They'll even say that they feel like there's something else, either like they lost a part of themselves or there's
yeah,
something else with them. So I think there's something to all that for sure. I
yeah,
mean, if you look at all of the stuff that goes on here, I mean, it's entirely possible.
yeah, Yeah.
And just a way to screw with us even more, right? Can you imagine um, the confusion and for the soul that just left out of the body, that'd be easy to trap him back in again. And then all of the hassle and whatever for the new soul that's, that's in the new body.
Yeah. Another thing that I just thought of is um, moving the souls into the light. Did you think it was strange? I thought it was so calculated how Terry, the little soul,
Mhm.
he knew exactly. He was like, there are 151,000 souls that go into the great beyond every day. And then he said something about like, oh, 104 souls per uh, second,
Right.
something like that. But I was thinking, I was like, huh, I really wonder if these entities at play are so calculated in that way that they know how many of us are, they have a certain amount of us going, crossing over. And like, what if it's just that calculated uh, beyond?
I I suspect it is, I think.
Yeah,
Well, look at it this way. Nothing in nature, we live in like Tony mentioned, that we live in square houses. You have the cube. Freemasonry comes out from these, even the zodiac, but the precision of mathematics
yeah,
that forms when you start, like you said, and it looks like a spider web when you draw the lines.
yeah.
And again, lines. So if you think about how, and mathematics, I've never been a fan of it anyway. Um, to me, it doesn't make sense to add, but when do we start adding letters and, you know, and people can talk about, well, you don't have a lot of the modern conveniences without it. I don't, I don't, I don't give a crap because I don't want to be here in the first place to enjoy the modern conveniences. It doesn't, in my view, math and the technology has done nothing but it's done more harm than good, I would argue. And I mean, go watch Oppenheimer. I watched that movie when they all marveled at their genius of creating a bomb like that. I
Mm,
quit. I didn't even finish the movie because I was like, that is disgusting.
yeah.
There was nothing to be proud of in any of that.
Mm,
And to me, when you look at what that's their technology, their stuff that we're adopting. So I think you're right. I think they would know.
yeah. And I mean, death has the word eat in it, right? And it's just probably one of the biggest energy harvesting moments of a life, right? When the soul's coming, we're taking our last breath and completely just, I don't know, I could see them having like a set amount of deaths per day to um, feed them or their cities or whatever.
Do you think if we know, it's not like,
Mhm.
where you're caught off guard, but if you know, do you think if your perspective on it is like, I'm on my way and I'm gonna win and not have get your body in that place? Because I have to do that sometimes. I'll have to put my body just accept, uh, this is gonna sound like I'm just saying, just deal with the pain. But if you don't want to be drugged out of your mind, sometimes you have to sit with pain.
Yeah.
And I'll just do that I will actually just tell myself, hey, I'm awareness of pain. This is what pain is. And right now, that is what I'm aware of. And just sit with that. And then I can get my, without even thinking, it's not about thinking. It's about just being present. So I'm wondering if you can die that way, would they be able to eat if you're almost like, yes, I'm on my way out. And then when I get out, I'm getting out beyond. Do you think that they would have anything? Because there's no negativity
It'd be a
for
lot
them.
different. There'd be a lot less for them. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that that might be a possibility, something for people to consider?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Because it's probably the suffering, like especially if you're suffering or the
Yeah.
confusion. I'm sure
Yeah.
they love eating off confusion. It's just usually fear behind confusion. Like I don't know where
Mhm.
I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Anxiety.
for
Yeah.
sure. Well, and I did notice when Tina Fey's in the picture as the character that Joe, as that doctor that they mistook him for, is supposed to
Yeah.
mentor. And remember, there's a big structure in that little world that they're in that falls on a bunch of the little souls. And she goes, "Oh, don't worry, Joe. They're fine." And they come out, and she goes, "You can't destroy." She says, "You can't destroy souls here. Earth is for that." And I went, "Yes, it is." Do you remember that line? I
Yeah.
was like, very good. Thank you for telling us that. But
Mhm.
most of us are in this viewpoint are starting to figure that out, and you guys are assholes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, that just, I mean, I must have found that like two or three times. I was like, uh, that's kind of the point of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It, so I wonder, I was like, it's going to be interesting to see if Devin wrote that down
Yeah, I
because I
didn't
made it a
write that
point.
down, but I wrote down the another quote they said right after that, and it was when the Jerrys they were saying, "Oh, you've all been here before, forgetting trauma of childbirth is the greatest gift of the universe." And I'm just like, they have us. We're just constantly forgetting things because of their darn games. Um,
Well, has anybody ever discussed in the in-between how the memory wipe is done, or does anybody even know? Has any, to your knowledge, of course, with, because I mean,
yeah, it's less in, it's actually less kind of a memory wiping, sort of say. And it's more so in the books I've read, they phrase it as just that cleansing feeling. It feels like you're being cleansed. Um,
oh,
but then you meet with your guide and you go over all of the good things you've done, but don't forget you have to go over all the bad things that you've done. You really have to focus on all the things that you've messed up on, so that you can plan your next life. Um, but the memory wiping, uh, whatever it is, whatever they're wiping away, they're making sure that they reframe it that um, it's all for a reason. There's some lesson behind it. And, we're going to make sure that you correct it, get the chance to do it over in the next life.
mm.
Yeah. And I think it's different for each soul. And like I said, the more experienced souls, they have less of a problem um, letting all that stuff be removed from them. But the memory wiping is like, especially the memory wiping is like you completely forget everything when you're going through that tunnel of light and you're getting going into the womb for your next life. And then especially when you come out of the womb, you forget everything.
Yeah, and even though the interesting thing about that to me is, I'm sure on the planet there's some babies who are born who aren't crying, but
Yeah.
the majority are, and
Yeah.
I think I I wonder what that's about. Why wouldn't you just, if it's such a pleasant experience coming here, when you, well, first of all, why would a woman have to go through so much pain to do it?
Yeah. Oh, the
Um,
babies are in a lot of pain too. It's
yeah.
really traumatic for them being born.
So both ends, you got pain just coming into the world,
Yeah.
and then you're screaming,
Hmm.
which leads me to believe you don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. You
Yeah.
just don't.
Yeah.
And I do find it fascinating. Obviously, the memory wiping doesn't always work. Some kids remember their past lives while they're here,
Yeah.
and we have evidence of that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's like, for example, that 2012 thing I was telling you about. She, a lot of theories were saying that most of the people who went to bed before midnight are the ones who have a fuzzy memory. And honestly, I have a good memory, and I cannot tell you. I don't even remember what I. This was 1999. I do know I listened to the Prince song 1999
Hmm.
that I and got together with people, but I can't remember if I stayed up and went to bed before the ball dropped or after. Um, and that happens in our lives, right? Just in general, we don't have to be memory wiped. we can't remember every detail of every single thing. Or you and I could be in the same room, and a year from now, we could, we could be doing this episode, and a year from now, your recollection of how what we talked about,
Oh, yeah.
or and mine are going to be completely different. If we and we might and we'll both forget things we said. So do you think that's part of it too, that it's real easy for us for them to manipulate things because we can't have that, we don't have that recall to
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
level?
Yeah, I think our unconscious minds can actually work against us. Our unconscious minds, they store every single memory and life experience, right? But also, if you try to recall them, your imagination and emotion can alter your memory.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Hello, Kitty.
it's like her second time since we started recording. I fed her though. I don't know.
I
She just
know.
love.
Well, maybe she's like, I want more, like
Yeah.
Oliver
Oh,
Twist.
yeah. One more thing I wanted to talk about the kids. I feel like that's also part they like it's planned that some of them remember their past lives. Uh I read this book when I was a kid and I was going to a private school, but it was called Heaven is for Real. Have you ever heard of that? They made a movie
I've heard
and
of
it
it,
was
but
just
yeah, I haven't
recently.
seen the movie or read the
Yeah.
book.
I think I recently just saw it on Netflix, and that's why it reminded me of it. But it's of a little boy, and actually, you know what? I'm so sorry. I think he's having a near-death experience. Yeah, he's having a near-death experience where he remembers meeting like God and Jesus, and then it becomes a very like Christian story. That was a near-death experience, but there are like other there's so many children remembering their experiences, but I can't help but think that some of it's planned to, I don't know.
Well, it could be, you're right, because it facilitates that whole idea of a lot of Eastern religions, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so it's kind of like, well, yeah, of course, reincarnation is real, but there's nothing wrong with it. That's how
yeah,
you learn. That's how you ascend, whatever. So I think you're right. I think same reason
yeah.
why there's NDEs that come back to tell us Jesus was real, but he kicked me back down here.
Hmm.
After he shoved my soul back into my body, even though I didn't want to go. It's
Yeah.
like, that sounds great. Let me follow that guy,
Hmm.
and I also noticed that with all of the well, look at the Tina Fey character in this, or she does the voice for the character
Oh,
that she
Dorothea.
didn't want to come.
Oh, 22. 22.
22. My
Yeah.
wife is over there going, remember 22, 22.
Yeah. The
I
life
couldn't
path
think of her
number.
name. Well, that's the other thing. How personal is that? All of the souls were just numbers. You don't mean anything, your number,
Yeah.
but they were kept trying to force her to go, right? But they didn't. Here's the thing. She wasn't consenting. She wasn't consenting, so they couldn't send her back. But they kept trying every tactic they could until they got her to hook up with Joe as her, as her mentor, and then she comes around, but not without it turning interesting. Um, but I thought that was fascinating. It's like they can't make her that, they want her to go to Earth as a new soul, but she's refusing, and they can't force it. So
Yeah.
they're telling you right there, it's your consent. They have to have your consent.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Another thing is
But
they show in the movie, um, they show all of your deeds and your misdeeds, and they show it on a like a projector screen. Um, they show that on a projector screen, which is very much, before we like incarnate, uh they show us what our life will look like before we incarnate. But then after, of course, the life review. What'd you do right? But really, let's focus on what you did wrong. Um, and then it goes on to show the you exhibit, right? And
oh yeah.
uh, Average Joe's exhibit, it was um, filled with a lot of like just uh, unexciting things, but also it showed his like divine spark, right? His spark for jazz. Um,
Or well, they called it his divine spark. I called it his, because I did you notice that they were trying to portray that as something you have to go seek outside yourself instead of you already are. They already
yeah,
we already are that thing. But to
yeah,
me, I was like, are you guys trying to tell us that that's part of the trick? Is that you're trying to tell us when we're out, you're not that thing, so go back to earth so you can become it,
hmm
right? Ascension, all of the religions are teaching that you need salvation to be worthy because you're not worthy, because you're dirty, because you're sinful. Or with Buddhism or Hinduism or any of those things. Nope, you need to go back so you can learn to so you can ascend and become an elevated soul or divine or know your divinity. Well, guess what? You already are that thing. So that's a huge that's the biggest lie in
yeah,
all of it.
yeah.
So I thought that was interesting is how they were like, you have to go find your spark or what that is.
hmm
And then also in terms of Joe, his obsession, I mean, it was to the point he wasn't living consciously. And
No.
I wonder about that when you see people that are really, really good at stuff like that. Because I've heard people say, well, they can get into a zone, and they're not thinking that's almost like their higher self. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think you can put yourself in trances that um I don't think it's necessarily healthy. I don't think it's a good state of mind to be in. And the thing is is that really your present moment? Like, what, for example, when somebody's shooting a basketball, um, consistently, like they're doing, like, they're training to shoot 3-pointers and they're just constantly, I'm shooting a 3-pointer. I'm in the zone. I'm making the shot. I'm making the shot. I'm making the shot. It's kind of like, are you really present with you as a being? Because that's just the act of doing something. And for a goal, there's a goal in mind to that. You're trying to get better to achieve something. I don't think that's the same thing as you as an individual, uh, kind of being in a daydream about uh and being present with yourself and guiding that daydream or that meditation in a way that's going to benefit you in terms of sovereignty. But being almost mindless in a trance is to me not the same thing. And I think when people have obsessions where they're like, so great, I'm an amazing art, and good on you, fine, draw to your heart's content. But um, I'm kind of like, but that's all you can do. That's it. You're not. Uh, it's an obsession. You
Yeah.
have to be. I mean, I've heard people say that I have to be obsessed. If you look at most fighters and they, MFC, all that kind of stuff, they spend hours beating up on other people, and letting other people beat up on them. Again, you have to do that though to get better. And then that doesn't count, that doesn't add in all of the training, the exercise, the conditioning or whatever. And I'm not by no means am I not saying people shouldn't have interest. But I think in order, as this movie portrays, that's all he could talk about. Even remember the barber that he
Yeah.
he goes to,
Yeah.
and he was like, I didn't know this. He tells the barber that he'd been seeing for years. Oh, I didn't know all this stuff about you. And the guy said, yeah,
Yeah.
because you never asked me about me. All
Yeah.
you ever talked
Always
about was jazz.
jazz. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the one thing which I've already alluded to, but that's what ends up dragging him. He can't leave his lifetime and he won't go into the light because he didn't get his break, the break that he wanted.
Yeah. And then, he finally gets up on the stage. He finally does it. And then afterwards, he's like, oh, I really thought uh, that would feel more, monumental, that I would have felt more. Um, and
I think it was funny that that's even in there
yeah,
and that they would tell us this because what I
yeah.
was picking up on is I was like,
Um,
you guys are basically telling us here, no matter what we do, here, it doesn't mean anything and it doesn't matter. In terms of the outside stuff, it doesn't matter. It's all empty. It's all empty. I mean, other than this podcast, and I'm not saying this is in terms of a monetary thing. I'm just saying everything else I've done in my life, whether a job or something you get a paycheck for, right? Like, and you feel like you're being a productive part of society. Well, I'm not drawing a paycheck right now,
Yeah.
but for me, this, if I had to say something was meaningful, this would be the thing. And it's not because, uh, and I've already alluded to this many times. It's not because I enjoy but you guys can get an idea of this, but if you were to come to my house, I can't walk. I can stand up and I've got a long recovery to go to, but I, for somebody like me putting this out, it's a big deal because I'm not at my best. But I think this is important and it's not an obsession either. But I think the things that we think are meaningful just aren't. I feel like, well, I get to spend time with somebody who, by the way, for those of a lot of you don't know Devin other than through this, but she's an awesome person. Tony, um, and maybe people are doing weird things in their own homes, or maybe they're not the best people. I don't know, but from what I perceive from you, from Tony, Mike Martin is going to be on. We don't know these people. We just reached out to them. They're like, sure, I'll do your podcast. Ola's going to be on a second time. Sure, I'll come on your podcast a second time. The comments on here, that means something. That's what's meaningful. People telling you when they don't even know you, hey, keep doing what you're doing. And then us writing back to them, hey, thank you for being you. Thank you for watching. Hey, stay in your sovereignty. That's the stuff that means something. And I think what the show, in my view, was depicting by that is like the stuff you think is important isn't. It doesn't matter, but you think it does. You fooled yourself into thinking it does. And you guys, and then we all end up obsessing ourselves over stuff that, I mean, even most of our arguments with one another are just, we'll forget about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like think about like if there just everybody watching this, think about the last argument you had with somebody. And you might remember you had one, but can you remember what it was about? Do you remember what started it? Do you remember the details of it? Probably not. You'll just remember you knew that something ticked you off or something ticked somebody else off, and the rest of it, and you all moved on from it. Well, I mean, some people don't, but I mean, either way, the point is, it's in the past, it's over with, and you won't remember a lot of the details of it. But when in terms of, and even the things that, how many people pick jobs when they're younger, and then and they're latter 30s, mid 40s, they're like, this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. They're miserable and unhappy and um, because just it wasn't important or becomes less important. Uh, and they get tired of the rat race. And, but I think for some people, it's that big letdown of working towards something your whole life. And that's what Joe does. And then when he gets there and he asks Dorothea, well, what's next? And she goes, this is it. You come here tomorrow night and you do the same thing.
Yeah.
And at some point, most of us, we may not get to the place where it's like, hey, this place sucks and it's hell. But you'll have people like with their careers and stuff like that. That's where it stops though for them, right? Their religion or their careers, where it's like, oh man, I just got to change things, but they don't go that next step and be like, oh, it's actually this place. Do you need to pause?
Oh no. I
Oh,
was
I thought you were
trying to
thinking.
find that quote that they were talking about the little fish looking for the ocean, and that other fish said, "You're in it." And he was like, "No, this is water." And he was like, "No, this is the ocean." Um, I was trying to find that, but I think that was pretty much it.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
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 Was that wasn't the I call him the boat guy or the ship guy, the little new age guy that would spin the sign in the real world. But
Yeah.
up there, he was like
Moon
the
Dancer, Moonwind. Moonwind.
moon.
That's based off of a real person. I think he spins a sign in like New York or Las Vegas.
That's
Um,
funny. That's hilarious.
yeah. Yeah.
But he's the one that told this story, right? Or talked about that.
No, that was with the Dorothea.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought that came from him. It sounds like something Hello, Kitty.
You want to
It's
see
just
on,
she, right?
oh yeah, Mango. Do you want to be on the camera? You want to be in the video?
Mango, you need to stop being mean to the other cat. You
Ooh.
better stop. She's cute though.
She was
She's
cute. She's
pretty. I saw your dog come in earlier, like a
oh
couple
yeah.
times.
And she just got sprayed by a skunk 2 days ago.
Oh no.
It's like she
That's like the worst.
they never learn though. They never learn. I don't know what goes on in their minds if they, can recall that if they get too close, they'll get sprayed. But I mean, it's happened to her multiple times. It's funny.
Well, yeah, speaking of animals, I have a question. What do you think about people, um, or your impression of those that think they have it figured out? Like, I'm not going to mention the podcast I barely started listening to, or it's a channel.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to think of it yet. They have some good information on there. I shared it with you in text or an email, but this channel's advocating for transitioning,
Oh.
which is a nice word for,
Oh. Oh wait, self-deletion?
yeah,
Oh.
like the advocate, like
Oh.
literally had said, quote, this was a quote, if like, if you're in hell and you're in pain and you're suffering on this earth, just transition. And I'm like, okay, um, so what if the person hasn't figured out
Yeah.
the whole, you know what I mean? Or, I mean, you're advocating for people to do something like that. And I mean, freedom of speech, do you? And we never will on this channel.
Yeah.
That's not something that I think that I don't even think that that's a good idea,
No.
because you don't know where people's mindset is. And there's scary stuff going on in the world right now. And there might be
Yeah.
people who are suffering financially or otherwise. But this individual at different times on their channel, we do know that there's some big stuff going on and the big picture stuff that's scary. But this person has it all laid out and it's saying things like, and you can't change it. Uh, and
Mm.
I know what's going to happen. And the bad side, you're in hell. You're not even in, which is true.
Oh.
And so since this isn't your home, if you think you're going to win, and I was just like, I don't look, I'm not saying again, fill yourself up on hopium,
Yeah.
but I don't think maybe we shouldn't be saying those things because if we're powerful, we're going to bring it up, we're going to bring it about for sure if we have that viewpoint. And so I really found it, um, and just in terms of how to get out, it's very Gnostic in their approach.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I'm kind of like,
I feel like
what
that's
makes you, they'll even say stuff on the channel like, I know I've done this for 10 years. I know what I'm saying. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care how long you've been doing this.
yeah.
I mean, you're saying this stuff, you're here. I
Yeah.
mean, I appreciate the other information. I got some good information in other respects from the channel, the
Yeah.
few things I've watched, but on this, I was like, I'm tired of people depicting that. That's how it creates cults. That kind of shit creates cults and cult thinking.
Yeah. I feel like
And
that's
I mean, how do you feel? I don't feel it's accurate to
yeah, no,
say you have all the answers.
I feel it's really dangerous. I feel like that's dangerous and it could cause a lot of people to make decisions based maybe when they're in the heat of the moment or, not thinking clearly or it could be really detrimental to them. And I know like speaking from my own experiences, I mean, I went through like some of the roughest moments. They were so rough to me, right? And I wanted to do that and I tried, but I feel like speaking from personal experience, the moment I realized my sovereignty, I started putting the work in to change the stuff I wanted to change and to like take control of my life. I was able to shift it. So I don't know. I just feel like that can harm a lot of people. Openly saying that. I don't
I
know.
know, our podcast is subscribed to that channel. That's how I found it. I was like, I have to talk to Devin, find out if
Did
we
you
want to stay
subscribe or
subscribed
did
to
I
it.
do it by accident?
I don't know.
So
One of us might have done
sometimes
it.
I'll be like, oh, I want to come back and watch their videos and I'll subscribe.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, because otherwise you might forget the
Yeah.
by the way, I've watched, it's not a matter of that I didn't because once again, I don't think you should always necessarily say everything about that and they're wrong, but they're not wrong about everything. They're right about quite a lot of stuff. But that those aspects of it, I was like, you know what? Because I thought about reaching out to see if I want to be a guest, and I was like, you know what? No. Um, I mean, we could talk about other subjects that don't get into that, but I don't want to encourage. That's why that's another part. It's not a matter of getting in a war of channels, but I also don't want people being exposed to that. Not
Yeah.
that I'm trying to protect them. Everybody has to make up their own mind. But like you said, if somebody is in such a state, um, yeah, I don't, I just, it's not even remotely, um,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. We talk about like the crap that it is crappy. The stuff we talk about, it's not uplifting. Um, but this is on a whole nother level
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. I don't know. Um, yeah, and especially when people come out here claiming that my truth is absolute. I know I'm right. Listen to me. Uh, no, no.
yeah, and I
Slow
think, I
down.
mean, I was worried, if we would get that with, because Mike has a very definitive, who we're going to interview tomorrow, he's a very definitive, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think actually, um, because it's something you can do in addition to what you're already doing. But he basically just talks about taking back your energy,
Yeah.
which I was sending attacks against them. So, well, why not take back my energy? I have nothing. Here's the thing, which we'll get into with him, but you have nothing to lose. And he was like, and so his perspective on it is he'll say things like, I explain this to people, and he's like, yet nobody does it. Or they'll do it for a little while and then they stop practicing. He's like, and if you're taking the time to cleanse your energy and stuff anyway, why wouldn't you do it? Um, so I know he has that kind of perspective, but he's not
Yeah.
saying, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the only one with the answers. He does see it as a way out and to take down the whole system because his perspective is he wants everybody, including the animals, out of here. And see, I get behind that. And I'm like, well, if this is a technique you think will work, like, yeah, I'll try it. I don't have anything to lose and I've got nothing but time on my hands. So,
Mhm.
I cleanse my energy every night anyway. So I might as well, uh, but we'll get into that. But I think a lot of from this movie perspective, there wasn't any there isn't really like they didn't get into religions or people, you know what I mean? They didn't really get into that. It was
No.
more the side of things where we're all coming from.
Yeah.
But
And they also like only spoke on reincarnation, I think, once with that one Jerry uh
yes,
talking
yeah,
about,
that's
oh, well,
right.
you've been here before, right? That was pretty much, I think, the only mention that reincarnation might be in play, but there were no talk of religions.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. They didn't bring uh honestly, I mean, you could argue the only religion and they don't specifically it's depicted is that new agey
Yeah.
with the moon guy. We were talking about the wind moon, I
Moon
don't know,
wind,
whatever.
yeah. Moon
Yeah.
wind,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
But all that is depiction. They're not really coming out in your face and saying, but I mean, he had the damn peace sign as an anchor
Hmm.
on the ship,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
totally, and they were even
Oh,
playing.
we talked about a crown chakra too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
By the
playing
way,
along
what
with
is your perspective and Tony's on the third? Is the third eye? Do we have a third eye, or is the pineal gland and the third eye part of the matrix system?
I think I believe it's just part of the
The
matrix.
overlay.
Yeah, I think it's part of the overlay.
So do you have yours since you had your chakras removed? Do you have your third eye shot? Like you don't have that anymore, right?
No, but I guess my pineal is still there. Um, which can be like calcified, right? Um,
We'll see that other channel I'm talking about talks about opening your third eye. And
yeah.
if your third eye's not open, you're not getting out of here. I'm like,
No,
I think that's
no,
part of the system.
no. Yeah. I think it's all
So,
chakras, all the overlays are just more systems to keep us um stuck and looshing off of us and
oh,
everything.
but oh my God, the light's coming for you, Devin.
That yeah, that was Harper. She's getting a snack, I think. Uh, I had a couple more things I wanted to talk about. And so one, it's not really, I don't, hold on one sec.
Sure.
So one thing, throughout the movie, um, is that 22 and Joe, they're constantly trying to find their purpose. And we see this so much today in our lives too, right? And one thing I see all the time with my daughter, everyone always asks her, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or they say, oh, you would be a really good, vet one day. They're planting all these ideas in her mind, or oh, maybe you would want to do this. And I feel like a lot of the conversation with strangers is around like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Where did she go for a minute?
She disappeared.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
weird.
It's so funny. But I asked Harper today what she wanted to be when she grew up. And you want to say, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I just wanted to stay here with Devin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's so funny. She's like, I just want to stay home. I like it. I like it here at home. I just want to stay here.
I don't blame you. I do not blame you one bit. That sounds good to me too. I stay
That's
home.
so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so that's so funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. But like I remember me growing up, I got an idea implanted in my head. Oh, I guess the people around me were always saying, "Oh, you want to be a vet like your grandfather." So I just started telling myself, "Oh, I'm going to be a vet when I get older. Oh, I'm going to be a vet." And I
Right?
keep that idea with me. And whenever people ask, um, what are you going to school for? I'm going to be a vet. But it's such a part, it's so ingrained into who we are as we grow older. And I know for me, when I stopped, another thing too, in my past life regressions, a lot of people coming to me, they want to discover their purpose. A lot of them. That's always one of their questions to themselves. What is my purpose? Um, and for me, I had to deconstruct that idea that I needed to be something great, be something big, and just be and just um be in the moment, find the things that I'm enjoying, and to stop striving towards some amazing goal and to just, I don't know, appreciate all of the steps along the way. Slow down and just appreciate where I'm at in life. And to never have one set purpose in mind, just to,
Can you stop talking real quick, Mom?
yeah, you like looking at yourself with the hat.
So, do you like my hat?
I do. It's very cool.
Thank
Very festive.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it a lot.
you.
Whole Foods. Got it at Whole Foods.
We got it at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what else did you get from Whole Foods? That it? Just the hat? Or did you guys get some groceries too?
We also got some strawberries, or Cheetos. Which one did we got?
We got the little cheese balls from Whole Foods.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And some macaroons too. They were good.
Oh, those are good.
Oh, we left them in the car by
We
accident.
did. We did.
No, I think you're right. I mean, really, the thing is like, if I just go back to the whole, if you're a being, or if you're, I don't even like using it, you're just consciousness, which is energy, then all of the things that you think you are, your name, where you're from, your parents, I mean, that's where they get you is those
Yeah.
attachments to, and then none of this, I mean, it's a simulation, so really none of it's real.
Is all right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like none of it really uh matters, you know?
I mean,
Um,
are you your job? No, are you your career? Those are just, even I mean, even our thoughts, those aren't even ours.
no.
I mean, there's a drastic difference when we're quiet and you're that observing your thought. You have the observed. Well, the observed is who you are. The thoughts aren't. If you can observe the thoughts, something you're the watcher.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, within and I think the brain. I mean, they say there's a second brain in the gut. I don't think it's a second brain. I think that's where our essence sense is in our core, and the brain is just an interface for reality. So
Yeah.
everything it constructs, whether it's your personality and all that stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, and it's all programming anyway.
Yeah. All of it. All programming.
And I think this movie just depicts that to the nth degree. But in essence, the unfortunate thing is both individuals, 22 and Joe, don't ever wake up. Joe just did everything. He went along with the process, except for going to the light at first, but every other process he went through and did what he was told. 22, same thing. No, except for she didn't come to Earth, but as far as once she did kind of, she ends up coming to Earth. She ends up doing what they tell her to do, and I think the movie highly kind of is just showing that like if you don't consent, they can't force you into any of this. That's the biggest theme of it in terms of from our point of view and where we're coming from. I think that's the biggest takeaway from all of it. And of course, don't go into the light because it'll zap you,
Z-
and that doesn't look pleasant at all. So those are kind of my final thoughts on the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I highly recommend it though if you haven't seen it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about was when 22 became a lost soul and Joe actually had to go find her. Um, but I thought it was so true. It showed I guess she ended up like eating him and then he ended up being like inside of her and he could hear all of her thoughts. And they were a bunch of things that, a bunch of programming, right? Or a bunch of things that other people told you that stuck with you. And it shows him saying all these things that really stuck with her. But it made this turned her into a lost soul, this dark being. And I thought that, I thought of entities playing a part in that, but also just all of the programming, all the brainwashing, all the things that just get stored in us that negatively impact us. Um,
You know what it reminded me of? And we just did the episode with Tony. I don't know if you had the
um,
same feeling, but it reminded me of some of the experience on the psilocybin,
oh yeah.
facing your fears and the voices telling the thoughts, the negative. You're, I mean, it was on like, yes, we all have it, but under that medication, that basically, let's call it what it is. I hate the term medicine. It's not medicine. It's a damn drug. And it was worse and more unrelenting and more sinister and more pervasive.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if it reminded you of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And just how like all consuming it can be like if you listen to it
Oh
or
yeah,
yeah, but
for sure.
um, other than that, I think I didn't have too many other things to talk about. Uh, It did show the astral, the flow state, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, they called it in the zone, but you know that,
Yeah, they did. That's right.
yeah,
They did, huh?
yeah. Um, other than that, yeah, I think I we did a good job summing everything up in the movie. He gets thrown back into his life even though he didn't really care anymore for it. Um, and that's, you know, we see that in NDEs and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. She's gonna freak out again because I disappeared for a minute. She's gonna be like, she left again.
She's like, what?
I know what happened. But no, I highly recommend the movie. I mean, yes, I know
Yeah,
it's a Disney movie, but
yeah,
it's really very good
it is.
and
It is.
has a whole lot of little truths in it.
Yeah.
Delicious. So,
Yeah. All
but join
right.
it. I
Well,
think we'll
anything else
finish
you want
up,
to
right?
add?
No, I think I finished it up
Okay.
with what I had said earlier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
join us next week because I think, well, we've got Mike coming on tomorrow. That'll be at sometime this week. And then next week, we're going to do our gratefulness, but what do you have to be grateful for,
Mhm.
really, episode. And then we'll do a deep dive on another topic next week. So we'll try to get two up next week too.
Yeah.
We'll see you
All
later,
right.
Harper.
Well, we'll see you later. You want to say bye, Harper?
Wait, I have one more thing. So you kept on so you kept on just
Disappearing?
like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
because the
weird.
camera got moved. The camera would move. So the camera would take a different angle and then it just didn't show me. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not
Not a
magic or
ghost.
anything.
Yeah. It's okay. You want to say bye?
And why does it want to look like that behind you?
All
Oh,
right.
it's just a
Well,
background. I'll see
I'm
you
going to
guys
stop the
later, though.
recording because she's going to keep talking, but
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
see
yeah.
y'all later.
All
Bye.
right. Good night.
Bye.